right, thank you, Paul. 8:36 is your time right now. Is your kid or teen maybe always with their headphones or earbuds in, listening to music, maybe watching a movie, playing a game, and it always seems loud? Well, heads up, parents, and you can now use this when you try to get them to bring that down. It's bad for their health. In fact, 1 in 8 teenagers show signs of hearing damage by the age of 18. And in 2015, the World Health Organization estimated that more than 1 billion teens and adults are at risk of hearing loss. And a lot of it has to do with unsafe use of the listening devices we now all have. Also, exposure to high levels of sound at entertainment venues like concerts. And that's why this morning we are joined by Dr. Clifford Olson with Applied Hearing Solutions, because this is something that affects everybody. I feel like every kid or teen now these days has earbuds or earphones.
That's true. I mean, adults have them on as well all of the time, but it's really the unprotected levels when you're listening to all of this music and all the other media that we consume on a daily basis. And this is something that we did not have years ago when the rest of us were growing up.
So we can only imagine, like, when studies come out 20, 30 years later, how much worse it might probably be.
Absolutely. In fact, when you actually look at the adult population, because let's face it, older generations also went through their concert-going days.
Sure.
And so about 24% of individuals in the United States that are above the age of 18 have noise-induced hearing loss, and it's the most preventable form of hearing loss that's out there.
I was going to say, so what can we do? You guys actually will look at people's ears and you see a loss. You've seen this growing in the last decade.
That's correct, yeah, and you're absolutely right. So children are starting to see more of this, so we have to be cautious about that. Now, when they're wearing headphones like these or earbuds like the AirPods Pro 3 that I have here, you'll actually get warnings on your smart devices saying, hey, you've exceeded the amount of time that you can spend streaming without risking damaging your hearing. And so it'll provide limiters there. Now, you can turn those limiters off, but I do recommend that you leave them on, especially if you're a parent trying to advise your child on this as well.
What is the time then that becomes too much?
Yeah, you really don't want to exceed 85 decibels for over 8 hours. Now, to a lot of people, they're like, well, I don't know what 85 decibels is. Well, think of just like a hairdryer. That is an 85 decibel level sound. If you're out on a lawnmower, you can be at 85 decibels. And I grew up on a farm. It took us 5 hours to mow our lawn growing up, and we didn't have any type of hearing protection for that. So you want to be really careful, because hearing loss from noise is all about intensity of the sound and duration of the sound. So if you're out, you know, on 4th of July shooting off firecrackers, those things can exceed 160 decibels. You can get an instantaneous hearing loss from a firecracker.
Really?
Exactly. But when you have, you know, earbuds like this, you might be thinking like, well, I'm going to be streaming my music all day. I don't really have to worry about it. But the duration of how long you stream that sound, even if it's around 80 to 85 decibels, can cause permanent hearing loss as well. Okay,
and the kids or teens may argue, I'm not doing it for 8 hours, but you say it's the higher levels. If I'm a parent and I hear the earphones and I hear the music coming from the earphones, that's probably too loud.
Oh, it's way too loud.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you need to intervene with that, because the thing about noise-induced hearing loss is that you might not notice that it's starting to cause the hearing loss right away. It takes time for this to usually occur for most people, but the hair cell structures inside of your hearing organ become damaged, and you cannot recover them after that damage has occurred.
Oh, wow.
A couple of the early signs that you're causing damage is tinnitus, or ringing or buzzing inside of the ears. If you have struggles with clarity of speech, not necessarily the loudness of speech, that lets you know that you're damaging these delicate structures inside of your ear.
Wow. Okay. I'm like, I probably have some hearing loss as well, just looking back at, like you said, concerts and things. So that's why it is important to monitor these things, right, with your family. Okay.
Yeah. So you definitely want to get your hearing tested if you have concerns. You want to protect your hearing. You got foam plugs for maximum protection. You have filtered musicians plugs in case you don't want to distort the quality of the music that you're listening to when you're at a live concert. You have custom molded electronic protection as well, and over-the-ear electronic protection. There's even apps that you can monitor your decibel levels to make sure you're in a safe level. And then when it all comes down to it, if you do want custom devices, you can actually go and get your ears 3D scanned at an audiology clinic. This is typically technology that we will use to build custom molded hearing aids, but we also use it for custom hearing protection as well.
All right. Dr. Olson, thank you so much. Great advice, great tips. So parents, you now have, make them watch this segment, replay it.